great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 766 of the Immigration Answer Show. And today is Thursday, February 20th. How's everybody doing? I don't know if TikTok's working or not. Looks like it is. How is everybody? Starting a little early. Got to go pick up my car. My car did not start this morning. It was 1 degree out. 1 degree. I was planning on going to the gym. I got out around 4:40. And I was trying to start it from the house so it would be nice and toasty when I got in. But no dice. The car was DEA dead as a doornail. And I happen to have a Cadillac, and I get OnStar with that. So I just push some buttons. And 20 minutes later, at 5:20 a.m., there was a guy, my man Micah, at the house. He got me jump-started. We got the car running. And it's been in the shop today getting a new battery. So that's pretty remarkable when you think about it, that at 5 in the morning, you can have someone at your house 20 minutes later charging your car. I'm not good with cars. That's definitely one of my weaknesses. And I couldn't jump start it because it was facing the front of the street and Amani's car was behind me, so it wasn't going to work. So anyway, I'm no good with cars anyway. How are you guys doing? Oh my God. Jay Cruz says it's minus 33 again today up in North Dakota. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. Date is wrong in YouTube. Listing February 20th. Not sure if that affects it. Is today not February 20th? Today's February 20th, I think. Isn't it? I don't know. I barely know what day of the week it is, but I do know it's Thursday. Yesterday I thought it was Thursday. So what the hell's going on? Jay Cruz always looking out for us. Got Lulu here. TNT to the H-Town says yesterday was a sad show. It was a sad show. I got a lot of nice notes. Some people think Trump is getting me down. Trump is not getting me down. It's just this is a lot to carry. And I feel for a lot of you going through a lot of bad stuff. We had some calls in a row yesterday that were pretty tough. And I got a little emotional, but that's how I do. I sort of feel it, sit with it, and off we go. Raphael said, that was a weird show yesterday. And Raphael was right. Nurse Laura is here. Glenn is here. Listen, the waiting room is full now. I got into the waiting room even before Hina sent the note because it's almost impossible to get in there now. So I know we have a lot of people waiting. A lot of people want to ask me questions. If you ask questions on TikTok and Hina is here, she will take it all down. Let's see. Oh, Hina's not in the waiting room, is she? She's probably surprised I started so early. Let's go to Jay Johnson. Hello. Oh, I'll give you the link. Hi, Jay Johnson.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay.
Yep.
So my situation, I'm recently married. My husband came here from El Salvador. We just married this January, and he entered on a tourist visa. He lost his physical visa not long after he got here. So,
lost his passport?
Yeah. He got here back in 2021.
Okay.
And so right now we're trying to obtain proof of entry as like step one.
Sure.
So we filed the FOIA, but we didn't add supporting documents because he was a little paranoid about adding his passport. We weren't sure his Mexican passport. He was born in El Salvador. He lived in Mexico for 6 years, and then he came to the U.S. So that's the backstory.
What country is he a citizen of?
El Salvador.
Okay. And El Salvador is the only country he's a citizen of?
Yes.
So his passport is from El Salvador?
Yes.
And where did he land?
In the U.S.
He came on a plane or he drove?
I think he drove.
Oh, dude, this just keeps getting worse and worse. We have no proof. We have no proof that he entered with inspection.
Well, he says that they took fingerprints at the border.
Where did he get his visa?
Well, from what I understand, he was in El Salvador, and then he was in Mexico for 6 years before he came here, and he came here on a tourist visa.
But where did he
From
go to
Mexico.
get the tourist visa?
He got the tourist visa from Mexico.
So he went to that doesn't make any sense. You're telling me he went to the U.S. Embassy as an El Salvadorian citizen. He went to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico and got a visit visa to the United States.
That's what I understand. So he had to have been a citizen of Mexico before he got a visa to get here.
All I'm saying is, in order to get a visa, you have to go to the embassy and get the visa. So you have to file a DS-160.
Okay.
You have to make an appointment at the embassy, either in Nicaragua, El Salvador, or in Mexico. So the story doesn't sound all that accurate.
Okay. Well, this is all the information that I have. So,
well, you should get him tomorrow and call me back and have him sit next to you, and I'll ask a bunch of questions.
Okay. Well, he doesn't speak English.
Well, that's all right. We can translate. We got people that can translate.
Okay. But my part of my question is, if everything he did is accurate and I'm just inaccurate, is there a way that we can obtain proof of his entry?
Well, I mean, driving entries are almost impossible to prove. If they fingerprinted him, if that's true, you could do a FOIA with a fingerprint background check and see if something pops up from CBP. But that's pretty tough.
It is?
It's really tough. It's very, very rare that they have. I mean, think about how many people they're waving through every day.
Right. Oh, well, no, he didn't physically drive. He was on some kind of bus thing.
Same thing.
Okay.
The buster. I mean, this story doesn't make any sense to me, Jay Johnson.
Okay.
I think he entered without inspection.
Okay, I'll get more information and I'll call back in.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. Raphael's right. You can get a visa from a country that's not your country. That's absolutely true. But according to her story, he got it in Mexico. So that would mean either way, if he had to visit visa the United States, that means he filed a DS-160. So there should be a record of that, right? And he could do a State Department FOIA. Jay Johnson, if you're still listening, you could do a State Department FOIA and see if you get a copy of the DS-160 and maybe a notice of approval of the non-immigrant visa, the visit visa. But if I had to bet, I would bet that he didn't have a visa to come to the United States. All right. Let's go to Alex. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a little bit of the background. I'm trying to be quick with it.
Sure.
I met this American guy when last year I've previously been granted 3 US visas in the past 3 years. Each one was like a J1 summer work and travel.
Did we talk before?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
So my question is like, I'm here and it's like my fourth. I'm already in my 4th month in the US on a tourist visa that I applied in November to travel with him, and we don't have any marriage evidence yet, and we didn't get married yet. He's my fiance now.
Well, I'm glad you don't have any marriage evidence yet, since you're not married. That would be problematic.
Yeah, so we only have like evidence of just traveling the world in America together.
Yeah.
So he wants to get married. We want to get married by the end of my tourist stay. I know that if I leave the country, though, which I would like to leave the country and just, be lawfully abiding by the conditions of my visa. But I know if I do leave and then I come back to see him again, they'll give me a hard time and possibly revoke my visa for the long stay, like, staying 4 months in the US.
True.
So I see no option but stay with him here. And it's not because I want a green card or anything, but because I want to stay with him no matter where or what the condition. And he just started working. because we've spoken with you, and you said you have to be working to sponsor someone, and then have to have a co-sponsor as well.
Yeah, but that's 3 years of working.
Yeah, but he has to be working as well, right? If he
Right.
just
Yep.
so and we're gonna get an apartment. We're here at with his parents. We're gonna get an apartment soon. So I was wondering, should I then, to stay here, should I extend the tourist status, or just overstay until we have enough marriage evidence? Which is the better option?
So I can't tell you how to live your life, but I can tell you immigration thoughts that I have based on what you told me. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So first of all, you said you don't want to stay here just to get the green card. I understand what you're saying, but I have a question, and that is, do you want to get a green card?
I want to stay with him, and if the green card is the way, then yes, I do.
So is the plan? I mean, do you want to stay in the United States? Do the two of you, is that the plan?
Yeah, he can't leave because he has a disability, and he has other U.S. citizens relying on him. So,
Okay.
uh,
So great. So we're over the threshold of whether or not you want to get a green card.
I
So
yeah.
these are your options. You could, like you said, get married and leave before your 6 months are up. If he applied for you, you're talking probably 2 years or so until you get your green card to come back. You get your immigrant visa to come back and get your green card. Okay.
Hmm.
And like you said, there's a decent chance, especially since you've been here already 4 times to see him, that they're going to say to themselves, boy, you've been coming a lot. And now you have this I-130 petition pending. We're not going to let you in this time, and we're going to revoke your visa. I think that's a decent chance.
Yeah.
And you talk about following the law, and it is lawful to get married on your visit, and it is lawful to apply for adjustment of status based on your marriage, and it's lawful to stay here until your case is concluded. So I don't think that anything in that plan is unlawful, as long as it was not your intention when you came on this visit to get married and stay this time. It's just something that developed because you're worried about being able to come back, and he's got a complicated life, and you want to stay here together. So I don't see anything in here that's near to unlawful.
Yeah, CBP they were really cool with me on my last entry. Just asked about my hobbies and how long I'm staying and stuff. So no problem at all. But the thing is, like, yeah, I don't want to leave him again anymore.
And so
So
the other thing I wanted to say, I forgot to mention, sorry, is they understand that when people get married and they have and the beneficiary doesn't have a social security number, he doesn't have a long history here, they understand that you're only going to have so much evidence. So I would say start documenting evidence. Text messages back and forth with you is evidence. Trips you said around the world is evidence. You've got enough evidence to file if you get married. You have a long enough relationship. You have enough. I can document that you've been to see him 4 times, right? So, and I don't know if he ever came to see you, but I think you're fine on evidence. Understanding that you're probably going to get an interview, and at that point, you're going to want to have more evidence. You're going to want to have opened up your bank account with your new social security number. You're going to want to have built that life together, have that lease together. It's going to be fine.
yeah, good that I've already got a social security number from my other
So that lets
time.
you open up a bank account the day after you get married, and you should start using it.
Yeah. So no, but still
Probably had your J's. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I think we would be more comfortable though applying in like 3 or 4 months, and but if I change now, if I extend the tourist now, I would be indicating tourist intention, so I couldn't gather evidence, right? Or it would be a
Why do
misrepresentation.
you want to wait 3 or 4 months?
So that we have like lease together and everything. And
So you weren't listening to what I said.
no, you said that I already have an evidence, but like
Right.
he
And so
isn't.
if you go your route and you file an extension on a visit, and you're saying your visit, but really you're just staying with your husband, that just to me smacks of dirty tricks and trying to be sneaky. There's no reason to be sneaky. You have what you need to file. You can strengthen the case as it goes on. you have enough evidence based on your long history together. And I think that filing an extension actually looks sneakier than just filing on time.
I see.
All right, good luck, Alex. All right. Hopefully Alex and his fiance sort that stuff out. Let's go to 2Qs. Hello, 2Qs. Hello, you're on mute. Hello, 2Qs. All right, 2Qs is out of here. Let's go to Ish. Hello, Ish.
Hey, Jim, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for everything that you do. You have a heart of gold, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. I have a couple questions for you. I'll keep it as short as possible here. I'm trying to help my brother file his I-485. Sorry. I've noticed that there's a couple, well, more than a couple new questions here on there. One of them being that if he has worked without authorization, he was, well, we were brought here since he has DACA. He has his I-130 approved. Will that affect him?
Who filed an I-130 for him?
His spouse
And
his wife there.
did he get DACA advance parole?
Yes, we did that. We had to go last year to visit my ill grandparents in Mexico, and
He's come back.
Yes, he got approved, and yeah, we were able to get back. He also has an I-601A approved. We were gonna go that route at first, but now
You have to. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So he's married to a U.S. citizen,
Yes, sir.
and he worked without permission.
For about a couple of years, he graduated high school, and he got his DACA when he was about 20. He
We
did
want-
odd jobs here and there.
We want to list every job that he can remember. It's all forgiven because he's married to a U.S. citizen. So we want to
Totally
list.
given.
Yeah, we want to be as specific as we can about any job that he's ever had. And then, of course, the one question I always have when people work without permission is I want to make sure that he never checked a box for a job that said he was a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, no, he never did that there.
Good.
Okay. And one more. Got my sister-in-law. She's marrying my brother. He's a U.S. citizen. She was brought here when she was 3 years old.
Right, so this is a different case. Now we're talking about a different case.
Yes, a different one here. She had DACA. She got DACA when she was underage. Will that help her and be able to file here, or will she have to go?
Tell me this. Tell me. So who's going to file for her?
My other brother. He was born here, and he's getting married to her.
So she needs to do. She still has DACA.
Yes,
She needs to do what your brother just did. It's the same thing.
the 485. Will she have to go abroad? She's from El Salvador.
She has to do the. She has to do the advanced parole through DACA, like your brother did. She needs
Okay,
to,
okay.
It's the exact same playbook.
Same process.
Yep.
Okay. So he that should get parted, and then going back to my other brother. Sorry. That work without authorization should get pardoned by his petition there from his wife, correct?
The working.
Yes.
You're back on asking me about the working.
Yes, I'm back to the other one. Sorry.
Fine. Yeah, it's all good.
It should be okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it.
Yep,
Thank you.
for sure. Yep. Let's see what's going on over on TikTok. Hello, everybody. Somebody wants to co-host with me on TikTok. Let's see what they got going on over there. You guys just chill out for a second. As a Canadian citizen, will I be allowed to enter the U.S. to visit family if I have an approved I-130? Maybe, maybe not. Is it bad that I got an interview scheduled? Well, if you got an interview scheduled on a 45, I think you should ask yourself why, because they're still waiving interviews in most cases. What kind of a visa can I apply for if I want to bring a nanny from overseas? I'm a U.S. citizen. You have to go through an agency, and that would be a J1 visa. You have to go through an agency, though. You can't hire someone outright to work for you as a nanny. All right. Thank you to Fatima for turning off the heat in here. It was really, really hot. Let's go to Tara. Hello, Tara.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing today?
Fine, thanks. I would like to thank you for your great show. And I have two questions from you. So, I was born in Iran and I'm a dentist from Iran, and I'm also a Canadian citizen. Currently, I'm studying a master in health administration in St. Louis.
Okay.
And my mother is also has become a US citizen. And I would like to ask you if I can apply for a green card from my mother while I'm on an F1 visa right now.
Has your mother ever filed an I-130 petition for you?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up the visa bulletin. So I'm going to do a whole video on the visa bulletin so I can teach people how this all works. Like I'm going to try to make the definitive visa bulletin video so that everyone sort of understands. But let me pull it up here so I can explain to you. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand is that there are an unlimited number of immigrant visas available for the spouses, the parents, and the under 21-year-old children of U.S. citizens. So I'm assuming since you're a dentist that you're probably over 21. Is that fair?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So if you're not the parent, the underage child, or the spouse of a U.S. citizen, then you're not an immediate relative, and that means you're in a preference category, okay? A preference category. So the State Department every month puts out something called a visa bulletin, and if you ever need to remember which preference category you're in, you just look at the visa bulletin, okay? So here we have it. So are you married or unmarried?
No, I'm unmarried. I'm single.
And mom's a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes, that's right. She's a widow.
So then you're right here in the F1 visa category, okay?
That's right.
Okay. So if mom wanted to sponsor you for a green card, the name of the form that mom files for you is an I-130 petition, an I-130 petition. So that is, I'm a U.S. citizen. I have a relative who I would like to sponsor for a visa. Now, because there's a cap on the number of these visas, there's a backlog. So it's not like spouses, right? It's different because Congress has limited the number of visas available every year for each of the categories. So besides you, which are unmarried sons and daughters, there's also married sons and daughters, which is the F3 category. There's the brother and sister of U.S. citizens, which is the F4 category. And then there's all in the second category, which is the spouses and children of green card holders, okay? So they're in the F2A and F2B category, right? So Congress has set aside, like, I think it's like 30,000 visas in each of these categories for every year. And so because there's a cap, there's a backlog, okay?
Okay.
So if in our scenario, if our scenario was reversed, where you were the U.S. citizen and your mom was a dentist and she was here in the United States, then you could file the I-130 for her, and you could file for adjustment of status for her at the exact same time, okay? You could file them together. But because you are, it's the opposite, because you're in a preference category, because you're in the F1 preference category, because you're not an immediate relative, we have to file it in what's called 2 steps. So step 1 is we file the I-130, and that's just mom declaring that she wants you to be able to live in the United States as a green card holder, okay?
Okay.
And then we have to wait in line. So when you file your I-130, you get a receipt notice, and on that receipt notice, it will say your priority date. So let's say mom filed it March 1st. So March 1st, 2025 would be your priority date, okay?
Okay.
So then every month, you're going to be logging into the visa bulletin to see when your place in line becomes current. There's simply thousands of people in the F1 category, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, that there's that many people in line ahead of you, okay?
Yes.
So hold on to your hat because you're going to be sad when I show you this, okay?
Okay.
So right now, we're waiting. Right now, they're letting people with a priority date of September 1st, 2017 to file for adjustment. Okay? So let's say that instead of March 1st, 2025, your mom filed the I-130. Let's say she had filed that back on March 1st, 2017, or even September 1st, 2017. Once the date on this thing is past your priority date, then you can apply for adjustment. So you are probably about 8 to 10 years away from being able to apply for adjustment of status if mom filed tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And just mom filing the I-130 doesn't give you the right or the ability to stay in the United States and hang out until it becomes available. In other words, you either have to leave at the end of whatever visa you're on right now, or you have to maintain your non-immigrant status all the way through until this date becomes current. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's right. So it doesn't impact my F1 visa right now.
That's the next thing I want to talk about. So we have a little saying here on the show, which is when you apply for when someone files an I-130 petition for you, they say, my daughter Tara wants to live in the United States. She wants to have lawful permanent resident status. That once you file that I-130, or more specifically, your mom files it for you, you have then demonstrated immigrant intent. You have rung a bell that you can't unring. So you can stay here in your F1 visa, but most likely if your F1 visa expires and you leave the United States and you have to go back to get a new stamp in your passport so you can come back on your F1, at that point you'll have demonstrated immigrant intent, and they're not going to give you a visit visa or a student visa to come back to the United States. That's the big problem.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't make any difference for people who are green card holder or citizen to apply for their children above 21 years old.
Well, that's not exactly true. Let me pull the visa bulletin back up, because the adult children of green card holders, they're in a different category, right? So they're in the F2B category, the adult children of U.S. citizens. And so right now, they're working on cases of January 2017. So actually, parent cases are a little bit faster right now but it's the same dealio. You still have to wait. You still have to have status and all that other stuff.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot. And my second question is that some states like Florida State has a program for international dentists. So by passing a couple of exams, international dentists can eligible to work as a dental hygienist.
Okay.
So they can get the license of that state. And if I pass those exams, under which visa can I work?
Well, you
As a
would.
dental hygienist, yes.
So the first question, I mean, generally, when you're talking about a job like that, we're talking about an H-1B visa, but this is going to be a problem, right? And here's why. Because H-1Bs are only available for people in specialty occupations. And a specialty occupation means that there's a specific degree that's required to do that job. And the problem for you would be that there are a bunch of people doing that job who don't have the degree that you have and don't have a specific degree. So I think it'd be hard to get sponsorship for an H-1B. Now, in theory, they could file an employment-based green card application for you, but there's a 3 or 4 year backlog for that. So I think for both of those, it's going to be tough for that job. I think maybe as a dentist, you could get an H-1B, but as a dental hygienist or technician, I think that's going to be tough.
Oh, okay. No, as a dentist, I can get NAFTA, TN visa, because I'm Canadian.
Okay, good.
But since I was born in Iran, I don't know if it impacts or not.
Shouldn't for that part.
But for the green card, it's better to not to apply from my mother. You
I-
mean that? Is,
I wouldn't say it's better or worse. I would say you need to think it all through and plan your visa accordingly. If your visa's expired, then you have to say to yourself, I'm going to be here. I mean, you could do OPT and then try to get a work visa, but like I said, that's going to be tough.
oh, okay. After OPT, I have to again get a sponsorship. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
H-1B visa like this. Okay. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Hi, Tara. See ya. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.
All right. All right. The old visa bulletin. It's confusing. Farzana is here. Hello. Hello, Farzana. You are on mute.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go right ahead.
So Jim, I feel like I messed up a little and I need your help. So I applied for my husband. I've been almost married 3 years, and he got approved, and he got a visa, and he came here. That same time, I found out, I misunderstood, and I found out that he could be talking to another girl, and I got upset, and I emailed eoir.fraud.program@usdoj.gov, and I kind of opened not a case. It looks like it's in the USCIS's inbox that says I want to withdraw my petition or application. He's already here.
This was after he was in the United States?
Yeah, he came on the January 7th, and I reported like the day before, or emailed the day before. He has received since then his social security card, but it's been 1 month 13 days, and he didn't receive his green card. I'm scared now. We are together, we love each other, and now I'm scared they're not gonna give him his green card.
That's possible.
So I don't know what to do.
We have this case right now. We're looking at a case. I was looking at a denied naturalization. So let's fast forward 3 years, and he applies for citizenship. In that case, the petitioner wrote a letter to the embassy saying, I want to withdraw the I-130 the day before they gave him the visa. So now they're saying he never should have gotten his green card, and therefore he can't get his citizenship. So I've seen this movie before. I just saw it a month ago on this denial notice that I read. So the problem is we got Trump in town now, right?
Yeah.
Well, so here's what I would say to try to make you feel better, okay?
Yeah.
Let's play it out. Let's say that you're at the grocery store in about a month, and all of a sudden these two immigration officers come up to you and say, hey, Farzana, we got your note. We know you're mad at that husband of yours. We know you want to withdraw the I-130. Is that still true? And you say no. And they said, well, we're still going to go ahead and try to take his green card. And let's say they put him in deportation. Or let's say instead of them approaching you at the grocery store, they approach him at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if that were to happen and you were to call me back, I would say, well, I get all that. And they can be bad, but if you still want him to stay, then you could file a new I-130 and file for adjustment of status for him.
Okay.
I mean, how long were you guys waiting for him to come?
Almost 3 years. This March will be our 3-year anniversary, and we applied in May. Application was accepted on May 3 years ago. So it's going to be almost 3 years. He finally got his visa, and on the January 7th last month he came, and at that same time I found out, and I was mad at him, and I misunderstood, and I did that. And now we got the social security card and not the green card yet.
Well, hopefully it'll come. I mean, everybody's green cards are taking a while, so hopefully it's not related to the email that you sent. But if more stuff happens, just let me know and I'll try to help you.
And how do I let you know? Would you be able to help me with your contact?
Yeah. our email is right there at the bottom, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com,
Okay.
or call the office.
Okay.
All right.
So right now we wouldn't know if they will do anything with that or not, because he got the visa on the passport, right? So isn't
Yeah.
that the
He's further along than the case that I read about. What country is he from?
Bangladesh?
So, they love to beat up on Muslim men and men from Muslim countries like Bangladesh. So I don't think it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, Farzana.
Thank you.
See ya. Here's a wise note from my friend Dammy. People, don't make rash decisions when you're mad. Let the dust settle first. I think that's good advice. What do you guys think on TikTok? Is that good advice? Give me a heart if you think that's good advice. I think that's good advice. Dammy's wise, and she's watched this show, and she's seen people call up here crying because they got mad and made a rash decision, just as she said. You can't withdraw that stuff. You can't unring that bell. You say that bad stuff. We just talked about this 2 days ago. You talk about that bad stuff. They're going to be wanting to deny that case in the future. And I mean, at the very least, the 751 or the N400, I guess, they probably don't have to do a 751, are going to be much harder than they need to be. People need to relax and give each other some grace. Sam is here. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for
Great.
picking me.
Yeah, for sure.
Sir, I just have one small question. So I entered here on B1, B2 visa from India. I applied for asylum, and right now on a work authorization. Now here I am with a girl right now, and we are about to get married. Everything will be genuine legal. She's a US citizen. The thing is that she's not employed legally. I mean, she's working on a cash register. And she had not applied her taxes ever. She do have some of the misdemeanors also in the past. It's been like 7-8 years. But from last 7-8 years, everything is good. But with her, the question is, sir, will she be able to help me to get the papers to get the green card apply on, or what would be happen?
Is this a real marriage because you're in love?
Yes, sir. I haven't done it, but it's gonna be a real marriage.
Okay. When did you come to the United States?
2022 April.
And what was the purpose of your visit?
I came here on a visit visa, sir.
What was the purpose of your visit?
It was just the tourism, but I never went back after that. That was the second time. I came 2 times in America. The first one also I came for visit. The second time also I came for visit, but then I never went back.
Okay. So where did you go when you landed this time? When you got to America, where did you go?
I landed in Los Angeles, and then I moved to New York City and filed my asylum in New York City.
Okay. And was there anything in your asylum case that you're worried about?
It should be okay, sir, but so far I have not even got even single interview. It's
Yeah, that's
just
okay.
yeah.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, was it a real? You said you're from India.
Yes, sir.
Why did you fear going back to India?
There was not a legitimate fear, but I just wanted to be here from always, and that's the only way that I got it. That my lawyer suggested me to do that.
So that's called a fraudulent asylum claim.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
That's called a fake
And that's why
asylum.
I'm wondering. That's why I'm wondering if I go ahead and make the legal marriage, will it be able to help me out and adjust my status?
I don't want to leave this yet. So you filed an asylum claim saying that you were going to be persecuted if you went back to India, right?
Right, sir.
And that was all fake, right?
That was all fake.
Okay. So that's a deportable offense. And if you file a fake asylum case, you can't get any immigration benefit, even if you married the most lovely person on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't think marrying this person is going to solve your problem. I mean, you have a couple problems. One is you applied for asylum from India. Nobody's really getting many asylum cases from India. There's, India is a democracy. Most people are living safely in India. I mean, I think there's some regions where people have made like religious asylum claims. But you're telling me that a lawyer filed this case or like a fake lawyer?
No, there was a fake lawyer, which I got suggested that's the only way to do it, and I just
Okay.
get into that.
So that's immigration fraud. And the other problem is you came on a visit and then you went back to India.
No, sir, I was living in Germany, and I came from Germany to to America, and then I went back to Germany again, and I came back second time after 1 year.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this. You have sworn under oath that if you go back to India, you're going to be persecuted. And if I'm an immigration officer, and people talk about this on the show all the time, let's play it out. You marry this former criminal and file for an immigration benefit based on your marriage. The officer is without a. If I'm an officer and I say, he said he needed asylum from India, I'm gonna call you in for an interview on your spouse case, but I'm going to ask you about this asylum case. Now, Sam, tell me about your asylum case. Why do you fear going back home to India? Right? And you're going to say, oh, I just filled that out so I could get a work card. I really wanted to stay here. I mean, you're going to get denied and you're going to put into deportation. You committed, there's one or two things you can't ever do that are unforgivable when it comes to immigration. One is a false claim to citizenship, and another one is filing a fake asylum case. So I don't know how I don't think you're ever going to get an immigration benefit in the United States because you filed a fake case. Nothing in your asylum case was true.
What could be the solutions, or how can I make it repair? What can I do?
As I mentioned, it's unforgivable. There's no way to fix it. It's a deportable offense that cannot be overcome.
Got it.
Good luck, Sam.
All right, sir. Thank you for.
This is true. Sam makes asylum harder for everyone else who has a legitimate claim. Boo. I understand the sentiment. I didn't feel the need to beat up old Sam, but I don't disagree. What's up, Twitter? I-45 case says case transferred to next office, C9. Is there anything to worry about? No, I don't worry about transferring cases within the offices. Jim, can you talk about stopping the green card holders at the airport and sending some of them back? I think that's BS. If people have actual news stories of that, I would like to see them. I think those news stories about green card holders not being allowed back in is just some fear stuff. I don't think that's true. Hold on. Let's go to ABR. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for doing all this, and I'm a big fan of you.
Thanks.
Yes, just a quick question. I introduced a family friend. They are both divorced, and they came to the United States, and I think one of them used your law firm to get her, I think, the green card, and the other one wants to find out if they can use your law firm.
Sure.
Okay, so it doesn't have to do it's not going to be a conflict of interest.
What are the two cases? Just like marriage case, both marriage
Yeah,
cases?
the little one that I know is I think both of them were couples and they went for the visa together and got divorced afterwards. And
Oh,
one of them came to the United States, I think twice, continuous, and went back home. But the other one, when the person came in, the person didn't go back. But then I think she got hers, and the other one got married and was denied for the I think I-485 was denied, but then I-130 is approved.
so your question for me is John and Mary come to the United States. At the time that they come, they're married. They both get divorced and they marry U.S. citizens. And Jim, your office handled John's case, and now Mary's having problems with her case. Is there a conflict if Jim's firm represents Mary's case too? Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question they want to find out. Because I introduced your link like to them, so they also like because I'm a big fan,
Yeah.
and they are yes. So
Do John and Mary hate each other?
no, I don't think they have kids, so I don't think they do hate them. I don't know.
The thing is, I don't know if there's a conflict or not. I have to talk to my ethics attorney, which is my wife, Amani. But I would say they probably don't want to have us be their attorney anyway, because if I'm USCIS and the same law firm has represented a husband and a wife who both split off and married other people, then I think the law firm thought that shit up and is sort of peddling it. So I think they're better off with another attorney.
Okay. Do you have anyone to represent, like recommend any law firm?
Yeah, where?
I think Texas, if I'm
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
I
Texas.
have buddies in Dallas and I have buddies in Houston. Go ahead. I'll run this question by Imani anyway. I would think probably if we were to ever do this, not that we would, but we would need waivers from everybody. Everybody would have to waive the conflict if there is one. But more importantly, I just don't think it's a good idea to have the same law firm do it. But yeah, I have friends in Houston and Dallas, and I think one other city. I don't know where Carrie is. I think she might be in San Antonio. So I probably got you covered. Just email me, okay?
Okay, I'll let him email you and get the details. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for referring us to people and for telling them about the show.
I'm a very big fan, and I'll always do that, Jim. Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. What a nice lady. See how happy we can be? Yesterday was sad, but today we're trying to keep it a little light. Oscar asks, how many roles does Amani have? Well, this is true. This is one of our problems. Amani has 3 big roles at the firm, and we're trying to just get her down to 2. That doesn't even count ethics. Amani's in charge of Pod A. She's handling about 300 cases. She's our integrator, so she's trying to help bring my vision for the firm to fruition. She's also mentoring all the young lawyers. But Dammy's right. Amani runs the show, no doubt about it. All right, let's go to Felix. What do you say, Felix?
Hey, Jim, how's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I really appreciate everything you do for our community and helping out. So,
Sure.
My case, I want to understand if I have a chance. So, I lived in the United States as a child. Well, I lived up until I was 17 years old. My parents wanted to live in the U.S. We always entered with a visa.
You weren't born here. You weren't born
No,
here.
everybody in my family is now a U.S. citizen except for me. And I got married actually to a U.S. citizen while living here in Mexico, Chihuahua specifically.
Uh-huh.
It's all for love. It's all for love. I found out 1
Yeah.
to 2 years into our relationships. 1 year into our relationship when we got married, that she was actually American because we got married in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Mhm.
And so we're thinking about applying for the consular green card. However, the thing is, as life would, sometimes the opposite things happen. So my wife was actually born in El Paso, Texas, but she has never lived or worked there. She barely started a job out of the U.S. She's working remote. She'll be filing taxes next year. But other than that, she in the U.S. she doesn't exist other than having her passport and all those documents.
She has her U.S. birth certificate.
Yeah, she has her U.S. birth certificate. She has her passport from the U.S. Yeah, all of that. She has it.
How old is she?
She is 29 years old.
And of those 29 years, she spent 1 in the United States. Is that right?
She was just born there, and then she left because her father got deported.
Okay.
So her family just decided to move back.
Okay. All right. So, so now you guys want to come live in the United States?
Correct. Yeah, that's our intent. We want to do everything legal. There's one more sticking point. I have a good job where I live in Mexico, so it requires me to travel within Mexico and the U.S. I know some big restriction is once you file an I-130, it makes it a lot more difficult to travel to the U.S. because they think you have an immigrant intent, which I wholeheartedly don't have that intent to break any laws. I just want to go there for business purposes and come back, right? When I visit the U.S., it's usually just a week for visiting, or if my job sends me somewhere, and then get out.
A week? How often? A week, a month, a week, a year?
So last year I visited about 4 times, just 1 week, and then I left. This year, in early February, I went to visit family. The first week of February, me and my wife just traveled to New Mexico just for visiting purposes. And then I returned last week because a family member was sick. So I just wanted to visit them. And then I'm back in Mexico. But next month in March, I have a business trip to San Francisco, but this one's going to be on a plane. So I have my entry and return ticket.
Okay, great. So what's your question for me?
So I want to understand, is our case a waste of time? Should we attempt to get an I-130? I have no problem doing the consular service because different lawyers are telling me different things, right? Some are telling me, oh, you have a B1, B2 visa. Just come inside and then ask your wife to adjust status for you. But I don't want to do that, right? Because first, I can't work. I can't, there's a lot of things I can't do. So I don't really want to go that route because it would put us at risk. So
what we're talking about is a situation that comes up a lot with, I would still consider you guys young people of a marrying age, because they're always competing interests. And I have a couple of videos on this topic. There's always competing interests when you're sort of joining 2 lives, and some are sort of established and they have businesses or jobs, and so you have to get a list and you have to prioritize what's the most important thing. So is the most important thing to be together the whole time the green card process is going on? Is the most important?
That's it.
Well, I don't know that it is. Is the most important thing to be able to work until the day that you come to the United States? There's lots of different things, and for you, it seems to be that one of the things that's sort of important is the ability to come and go to the United States, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I have to give that up, I think in my job they would totally understand, and I would stay, in Mexico for the length of the process.
Yeah.
For me, the important thing is for me and my wife to stay together. I don't want to part from her, because some people say, "Oh, just tell your wife to go live in the U.S. for a year or 2."
Yeah, she doesn't do that. So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
If I had a magic wand and could give you guys a green card 6 months from now, let's just say, would you then start living in the United States 95% of the time?
Yes. I mean, the long-term objective is to move over to the U.S., live there. I want to do everything lawfully. I don't want to break any rules. And if I can get it within 6 months, I would totally do that. But, with Trump and everything that's going on, I know that waiting times can go from 1 to 2 years to 3 years. Yeah. And I really don't want to be frozen out. I can take 1 or 2 years not being able to travel to the U.S. That's something that I'm willing to do. But anything farther than 3-4 years, that's gonna hinder my career.
I don't think. I mean, unless things really go off the rails, it shouldn't be 3 or 4 years. So, to me, it seems like, to your point, you said that you sort of didn't even know your wife was a citizen until sort of further on in your relationship, right? So
correct.
to her, she's really been living her whole life in Mexico, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So here's what I would do. I would figure out, do I really need to go to the United States over the course of the next 2 years? And I would be very, very limited in that and very, very strategic in that, right? Yeah. So if it's to come to see family, I would cut down on travel to the United States.
Okay.
You're already married?
Yes, we are going to come up on our 1-year anniversary on the 17th of March, but we've been living together since January 2023.
So I would have your wife file the I-130 petition. Does she have a U.S. address where we can start pointing this case towards and know that in about 1.5 years, I'm going to need her to come back to the United States probably 2 or 3 times to sort of open up the bank account, get library cards.
She has a bank account. She has a driver's license.
Yeah, but I mean, joint.
Oh no, we don't have. We have all that in Mexico, right? So we have a house that's under both our names, utility bills that are under her name, my name, same address here in Mexico. So
Yeah.
bona fide marriage in
we have
Mexico.
we have the issue of her domicile. Like she's lived basically her whole life in Mexico, so they're going to at some point, and it's not this stage; it's at the next stage at the National Business
NBC.
Center. We need a U.S. address to point her to point you guys to. So what I'm saying is, I'm totally fine with her filing the I-130 tomorrow. I'd be happy if you cut back on your travel to the United States.
Yes, I'll definitely do that. Cut it down to, I would say, for this year, Jim, I have one upcoming business trip in March, and then I have a concert that's going to be in El Paso, Texas, and that's all the travel I'm going to do for this upcoming year.
Okay. So then once your case gets approved, or I'd say probably 14 months from now, have her come back, sort of start looking around for places to live. You want to start having her have more of a domicile in the United States, because otherwise when you get to the embassy, they're going to say, Felix, why are we going to give you a green card if your wife doesn't even live there? So she has to start getting closer to that. And you're fine now. Just get started.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, we'll get started on 130. It's just hard, right? Because some of these places, they tell you, oh, just separate for a year or two, have her live over there. And I'm thinking to myself, that's really tough, right? Especially when you're in an actual bona fide marriage.
Yeah, I'd say I'd say that's true for everybody, but I'd say 2 weeks, two times 16 months from now is when I need her here.
Okay. So, yeah, we actually talked about that, if it goes to the NBC, maybe have her go to the US, pick a place to rent. She works remotely, which that's another concern of mine, right? What if she loses her job and, she's looking for a job remote from the US, but she can only find work in Mexico? Will that deter our case?
Well, you need a co-sponsor. If she needs to file tax returns for the last 3 years, that's another thing you guys could start working on. Even if she has zero
We
income.
do have a co-sponsor. Sorry for we have a family that are green card holders and are citizens, so they could potentially help us, with those tax returns.
Even so, she needs to have tax returns for the last 3 years. It's a requirement.
Okay.
Even if you have a co-sponsor.
Okay, so, I mean, would that, like, for example, let's do a 2-year timeline. So she's barely going to start doing her first tax returns in this upcoming year. Hopefully the I-130 will be approved within a year. And then for the second year, once, we enter the NVC stage, if she only has 1 year of tax return by then, and we have co-sponsors, is there a good chance we'll get approved?
No, it is a requirement that she has 3 full years of tax returns at the time you get to the National Visa Center.
Okay.
It's impossible for you to come if she hasn't filed tax returns for the past 3 years.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks, Felix. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, I want to talk about one of our favorite topics around the house, and that is, where is it? Has anyone else watched that show on Netflix called Mo? It's awesome and about immigration. It's about Palestinians. Mo, I'm not going to give away anything because Laura doesn't want any spoilers, but I will say there's an immigration lawyer on the show. There's also a lot of funny shit that happens on the show. There's some funny immigrants on the show. Mo's a stand-up comedian. And he's friends with Rami. What's that guy's name? Not Rami Malek, the other Rami who has the show. Anyway, it's really funny. It's super sweet. He has a brother who's a little bit awkward, and his mom. It's really a really sweet show. And I know you like the first season, Laura, but second season is even better. My son Ibrahim just finished it. We finished it last week when we were in San Diego. It's a wonderful immigrant show. It's a wonderful Palestinian show. It's a wonderful Arabic show. I love it because we need to come up with a word like Spanglish for Arabic, but there's a lot of where you just sort of slide into Arabic slang and stuff. It's just great. It's just great. It's a great show. Netflix, highly recommend. Kamrul is here. Hello. Kamrul, are you there? Hello. We can't hear you, Kamrul, because you're on mute. All right. Kamrul is out of here. Let's go to Hope. Hello, Hope.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing? You feel better today?
I do feel better today. Do you feel better today?
Yeah, because yesterday was sad.
Yesterday was really sad. I agree.
You were kind of emotional.
Yeah. My wife's all mad at me for being emotional, but that's how I roll.
But I think it's great.
Hmm.
Don't feel guilt.
I don't. What can I help you
Do
with?
you do you know I have a news?
Oh, good. Let's hear it.
At least I was going to tell you yesterday, but I never had the chance. Remember, I got my bona fide determination notice,
Great.
and I apply on May 2022,
Yeah. So 3 years.
and it took almost 33 months
Yeah. That sounds about right.
because I had to expedite on December 8th, and on last Wednesday I got the letter. And remember, I have a removal case. It's closed since 2014. And my question is, now I have the bona fide. They're going to give me the employment authorization.
You can apply for it. Yeah.
I already did.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I did all together. And now I have one case. It's closed since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It's a removal.
Right.
And then now I have the U visa pending.
Right.
What's going to happen if I have an encounter with IC?
So you're already in proceedings, so I would carry proof of that. I would also obviously keep the bona fide determination letter, and I think that those two things should keep them from doing anything else. You're already in removal, so there's nothing for them to really do.
But how are they going to balance?
Say it again. How are they going to balance?
How are they going to balance these two cases if something happens?
Well, Trump wants to speed up the deportation part of cases, but that case is closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's
That's
your
the judge?
Yeah.
The judge decided to close 2014.
Right. So do you have an attorney?
I do.
Because I haven't handled many of these cases.
Okay.
So I don't really know what the next step is, and I don't know how receptive they are in immigration court to do anything with your case. So I think you're just sitting tight, but I would ask my attorney because I haven't handled that kind of case.
No, that's good that you know you do also if I need. It's good because I'm kind of thinking about it. I think I have it to need somebody that's going to find a good agreement for the defense if something happens.
Yeah.
And I need an attorney that has a good experience.
Yeah. So why don't you email me, Hope, and tell me where you are, and I'll help you find someone that does a lot of those cases.
Okay, but it's somebody you know?
Well, hopefully it depends where you live, but don't say it. I don't want you to say it on here. Just email me.
No, I'm not. And how can I email you?
info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Just say, I'm Hope. I was on the show with Jim right at the 1 hour mark, and I'll follow up with you either tomorrow or Monday. Okay.
Remember the last time I asked you, Jim, can you give me a hope? And you say it's pretty hard.
I did. Yep.
And I got Hope, and I changed my name. My name now it's Hope.
I love it. Really happy for you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. I see someone in there on camera. Jor, turn your camera off and I'll pull you up. Okay. I'm going to change your name a little bit here too. Turn off your camera and I'll pull you up. There we go. All right, George, you're up next.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I think you remember me or not. Last year I was talking with you.
I talk to people every day, brother. I don't remember who I talked to
Yeah, all right.
yesterday.
So yeah, the same question. Last year, my wife and I we went interview over to Malaysia on January 30, and then because our marriage certificate is not, it was happened over the Malaysia. So my wife, she was a refugee, so we cannot marry legally through the Malaysia civil authority. So we just provide our marriage certificate through our church. So we submit it in the US here, and the US are approving, and then they schedule interview over there, and then the counselor say we cannot process your marriage certificates because it's not registered at the Malaysia Civil Authority. So I wait 18 now. So just last week I got a intent to deny for the USCIS. They're giving me 30 days. But when I was over there last year on the April, we went to marry through the Utah State through the virtual marrying. So I got my certification right now here. So if the certification, should I send it to the USCIS during 30-day period, this certificate, and it's gonna be reapproved or not?
Well, I think you have a problem, and that is that if, okay, let's say that they're right, and that your first marriage wasn't valid for purposes of the I-130 that you filed, okay?
Yeah.
If they're right, then getting married now online doesn't fix the case that you filed. The case has to be approvable at the time that you file it. You can try and get them to pay attention to that, but I think they're going to say, no, if you're going based off a new marriage, you have to file a new I-130 and wait.
Oh, so do you think that should I just refiling and brand new again?
You probably have to.
Yep. So, yeah, because I was waiting the whole year, so I applied through the one welcome course through the refugee process. So she just waited for USCIS. They already processed it for the USCIS interview, but after Trump became a president, they declared that all the program stop. So I don't know how long he gonna stop it and reopen it or not. I'm not sure.
Let me ask you this question. So what's your status right now?
Which one?
You. Are you a citizen?
Oh yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen. So.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Okay, great. Well, the other thing with Utah online marriages, you have to show that you met face to face after you got married online. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the what was happened is after the counselor say that your case already sent it back to USCIS last year, January. At that time, I was over there with her. So we just married together in person over there, but through them online. Yeah. So
good luck. Good luck, George. All right, let's go to Sandra. Hello. Hello, Sandra C. Are you there?
Hello.
Sandra. Hi, go ahead.
How enforceable is the I-864 in a case of divorce?
Well, there are lawyers out there who specialize. Are you the person that signed the I-864, or are you the person who benefits from the I-864?
Oh, I know the person who is the foreign national.
Okay, so
It's not for me. It's somebody that it's going through a divorce actually as the I-751. I-751. Okay, it's been filed by both spouses, and in December, and then recently he filed for divorce.
Okay.
So yes, and so she wants to know if that is enforceable, because he came out of nowhere wanting to divorce her.
Okay. So, and you're friends with her?
Yes.
So I have a lady who who got a 2-year green card. At the end of the 2 years, she and her spouse filed the I-751 to remove conditions. And then after that was on file, how long after that was on file did he say he wanted to get divorced?
How long after? 2 months.
2 months. Okay. So the first thing she should be thinking about isn't so much the affidavit of support, although we can talk about that. She also has to think about the fact that did he move out? Did she move out? What happened?
She left. She left, and she's
Okay.
she's
So,
sheltered. I mean, she's staying away from him.
right.
He's a little abusive too, so
Sure.
we're trying to help her here.
I'm sorry to hear that. So here's what she needs to understand. Right now, she has told USCIS that everything's cool with her marriage and that she's living at the address that's on her 751. That neither of those things are true anymore.
Okay.
So what she needs to be focusing on is she has to file her own I-751 for a couple of reasons. One is the information she has on file with USCIS is currently wrong. Number two, he might withdraw that 751 at any time.
Okay.
So does she have a copy of the 751 that got filed?
A copy? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's going to need that, and whatever other marital evidence is available, she's going to need that too, because she's going to have to file her own 751.
Okay. So she does have a lawyer, and
her own lawyer separate. Is her own lawyer separate from the husband?
She's not sure.
The lawyer, if there's a lawyer that filed the 751, that lawyer can't be the lawyer on her solo 751, unless her husband waives the conflict. There's a conflict now because their interests are different.
Mm-hmm.
Does that understand? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So she has to.
Does she need a new lawyer?
She can't use the lawyer that filed the 751. That's all I know. And
she cannot.
Well, the lawyer has a conflict because the lawyer represented the man and the wife, and so now their interests are divergent. So the lawyer can't pick one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
So the lawyer has to get out. And so yeah, she probably needs a new lawyer because she needs to file her own 751 without the husband.
Okay, and I've heard that you say they have to withdraw the application. Is that what she should tell the lawyer to do, or
what I would do if I were her lawyer? What I would do is I would prepare and file what we call here on the show a 751 solo, a 751 by herself, and she can argue that it was a good faith marriage that just didn't go right. She can argue it was a good faith marriage, but he abused me. Those are both reasons why she can get out of the joint filing requirement. And then once she gets the receipt for that 751 solo, then she withdraws the 751 joint.
Okay.
Now to your question. There are divorce attorneys who are also immigration attorneys who specialize in using the affidavit of support as evidence in the divorce case to demonstrate that she should be taken care of at the level of what she was expected underneath the affidavit of support. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand that.
So in other words, let's say this guy made $80,000 a year and he said, I have enough money to support her. Then there are lawyers out there. I don't know how to do it. I don't do divorce law. I don't have any interest in doing divorce law or fighting over affidavits of support. But I believe two things. One, I believe there are lawyers who know how to use that in a divorce to force the spouse to pay up. I also think there are a few lawyers I've seen on LinkedIn, and I think all that they do is file lawsuits in federal court to just enforce the affidavit of support against the spouse that signed it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's just a rumor, but I'm pretty sure that I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay. I will look up for that information.
Well, at the very least, it's good evidence of the fact that he's supposed to take care of her financially.
Yeah. Would the evidence to that she was in an abusive relationship help her case?
It would, but I think it's a harder case to win. I'd rather, if I have the choice between filing a VAWA case, or hey, this was a real marriage that just didn't work out, and oh, by the way, he's a real asshole who abused me, I'd rather you fold that in as an explanation as to why, because there's two different standards. I think it's much easier to prove this was a real marriage that went bad, and mostly the reason it went bad is because he's an abusive SOB. I think that's a lot easier than making a true, like there's a box you check. I would not want to check the VAWA box unless I had a ton of evidence, because if they were married 2 full years, they should be able to prove to the government satisfaction that it was a real marriage, that it just didn't work out. And oh, by the way, you should really feel sorry for me because my husband abused me. That's just sort of an add-on.
Sounds like 3 years. 3 years married.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said a solo petition. Is that what, in
Yeah.
a different lawyer? Okay.
Yeah, we work on these all the time. I really like working on these cases. We're actually very good at them. Amani, my wife, handles these. They're interesting cases to work on, and she should feel 100% safe. I'm glad she's with you and not with him, and she can get her citizenship without him. So if you do it all right, if you hire us and we help, it's all going to happen. Alejandra says she can attest to that because we did it for her. That she can get her citizenship and stay here, so she shouldn't be scared anymore of that asshole.
She's very frightened at the moment because he has threatened her for a long time with this immigration process, not to support her, even though he has all the means to. And
so I would say what's going to make her feel better is if she talks to my wife, because my wife's going to tell her everything I just told you over and over again, and she's going to make her feel better, because this is what we do. We do these all the time.
Okay, I'll consider that. Thank you very much for it.
Bye, Sandra. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. All right. What the heck? I got to go. I thought my call was at 4:15, but it's at 4. Ha ha ha. All right, I got to go, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. We're doing an early show tomorrow. What time tomorrow? 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, Central. 11:30 a.m. Central. We'll be back. People were asking, well, how can the waiting room be full if the show just started? Well, that's because smart people know that they should text the word show, SHOW, to 314-470-3300. And then we text the word show, and then we add you to our list, and you'll get a text with a link to the waiting room. Big up to Miss Donna and all the rest. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.